Welcome to the Toronto Livings Podcast, a conversation about all things Toronto with a focus on real estate, the culture, and of course, the food.
I'm Mark Savel.
And I'm Joey Virgilio.
And we're realtors with Sage Real Estate working together as a Toronto Livings team with a focus on helping you buy better, sell higher, and of course, having a little bit of fun along the way. Hello, Joey.
Hello, Mark.
I think we're at the coldest podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, well, right now it feels the warmest.
It does. It does feel very hot.
If you can't tell from the red lights, we're here in Othership.
Yorkville location.
And the hats, actually, if you can't tell from the hats.
Yeah, we're at Othership, and we're joined by Sher and Dan. Welcome, guys.
Hey, guys. Great
Thanks
to
for
be
doing
here.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for doing this.
We attended one of your real estate nights, the networking event a few weeks back, and we always had this like wild aspiration of recording live from Othership.
Yep.
So they've been generous enough to host us, and we're going to have just a quick chat about what it's all about and why everyone should come check this place out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So maybe you guys can lead the way and tell us, where are we? What are we doing here?
Sher, you got this one for sure.
Yeah. What are we doing here?
What are we doing here?
I think we're trying to spread the word and let everyone know what Othership is all about. And why it is a great spot to bring different communities, including the real estate community. We're here to learn how to regulate our emotions, how to combat stress, how to face our fears in the cold.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and we're here to have fun.
Yeah, I love that. I think we could all agree that Toronto is a very stressful city, and there's very few outlets to regulate that stress. And I found Othership a few years back, and it's probably the biggest game changer to like quickly or effectively see results of calming down from the stress of city living and just getting more in tune with yourself. And you know, when I first told my parents I'm going for an ice bath, they're like, "Why would you do that? Like, we have running hot water. Why would you do the ice bath?" So maybe you guys can talk a little bit about some of the health benefits that an ice bath provides.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, to your point, this Toronto hustle culture we got going on here, it's so important to find an escape. And I think this was a big part of what I found here for sure. And in terms of the health benefits, I mean, I don't even know where to start. Obviously, we do hot and cold here, so that's sauna and ice baths.
Yep.
There's different health benefits coming from each of them. You know, I think the ice bath is definitely the powerhouse of this space. And, you know, you've got, I guess I'll start with the anti-inflammatory benefits. So muscles, joints, that cold exposure, reducing inflammation in those places. I notice, I would say, a 70 to 80% reduction in my morning stiffness. I'm not a young man anymore, despite what you may think, just by plunging like 2-3 times a week.
Amazing.
So that's a huge one for me. There's an immune system response that happens. So essentially, you're sort of like shocking your immune system. And through that, helping it build resilience.
Healthy
and
stress.
Essentially strengthening. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Healthy stress. That's basically what we do here in both the hot and the cold. You've got a metabolic stimulation that happens. So metabolic activity gets kicked into gear. That's why you were saying earlier, you leave here feeling so hungry, ravenous.
Yes. Very hungry.
That's, you know, I found when I have like bloating or any like digestive issues, which happen sometimes, ice baths really help it.
Okay.
It just gets everything working through.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got chemical releases in the brain. So different chemicals getting released that help with mood stabilization, focus. And I would say that's another big thing I noticed. 2-3 baths a week, and I just feel more
in the zone.
aligned, like more, in the zone. Like
Anytime I've done it, I felt so energized and like legitimately ready to tackle the day. Mind you, I think the last time we did it about 9:00 at night. So I was ready to tackle the night.
Yeah. That was a good 3 a.m. fall asleep session.
So let me ask you. I guess we'll start with one of you. But how did you get into it? When was this? Where was the starting point?
What brought you to the cold?
We'll start with Sher.
Yeah, for sure. So I actually got connected with the community just like in the middle of COVID, to be completely honest. So Robbie, one of our co-founders, he had this space in Geary that was a garage that was converted to a private sauna ice bath space. And that's where I first got introduced to it. And it was initially like, it was a very new experience for me. The most I'd ever done previously was like sauna and then jumping into a lake, which was super exhilarating with my friends at a cottage. But doing this in a more intentional way and having the community and the support there to guide me through it, I found it felt very profound in a sense where I was like, oh, this feels different.
Right.
So that was just before we had opened up our doors at Adelaide, and I really just wanted to be a part of the community and contribute because I saw a lot of the benefit of what this could offer the city, especially coming out of, everything we had just gone through.
Yep.
So I was just really motivated and super passionate to be present and help grow and spread the word and get more and more people in. And it's just obviously seen a lot of, growth in a short period of time, relatively speaking. So yeah, it's just inspiring every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a job you're probably very excited to come to.
Yeah.
It
feels very special.
Yeah.
We just had a community sweat with like our own team because we have our founders that are leaving to New York very soon. So it was just kind of a nice way to all like acknowledge each other and just celebrate how much we've contributed, how much we've all personally grown, the kind of experience that we're facilitating for others and how we're helping people. So it was really, really nice.
Yeah. And like the one thing I got to give you guys a massive shout out for is obviously going to the cold is a very scary thing. You don't know what to expect, but the vibe and the experience when you come in here is always like you've known the person for a long time. Like the trust is instantly felt. When we did our first tier together, it was like really taking the time to ensure you don't need to be scared. It demystifies all this fear that you have. And when I try to sell people on it, it's like going to the gym. Nobody truly enjoys going to the gym, at least in my opinion, but it's the effects after that you got to see through that. Like, and so maybe talk about like how long you have to spend in the water, in the cold to feel those effects.
Yeah, for sure. So we always guide here 30 seconds to 2 minutes. The reason being the science supports 30 seconds being the threshold where most of the good stuff starts to happen for you. 2 minutes being essentially where most of the good stuff starts to plateau.
Okay. So
we find there's also benefit from accumulating, 4 minutes, 6 minutes, 8 minutes throughout a week or throughout a session. So we try to follow the science, and we find that doing multiple rounds of 2 minutes is the sweet spot. Because a lot of the benefit too, which I didn't really touch on before, of course, is it's taken on the challenge, right? Like it's never easy for me. I don't know about you, Sher, but like stepping up onto that bench and looking at that water, it's never easy.
There's a heart race moment right before you step in.
Once you're in, it's kind of not for everyone, but like for me anyway, it's getting in that's hard. Staying in is the easy part. So, there's also a reason to kind of get out and force yourself to get back in rather than trying to just accumulate all those minutes right away.
Yeah, right. Build it up.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the sweet spot. The one thing, beyond 2 minutes that you do really get is the anti-inflammatory benefit. That's why you'll see athletes, they'll plunge 5, 8, 10 minutes after.
I was going to ask you how long when's the diminishing return start?
Sure. Yeah. Great question. I mean, when it comes to anti-inflammatory, I don't know where that point would be, but essentially it's like, when your doctor tells you to ice your sprained ankle or knee or whatever, on and off, but they never tell you like you can do it too much, right? So that cold just helps reduce inflammation. That's why you'll see athletes going like 10 minutes plus sometimes. But everything else that we were talking about, that immune system response, the cold shock proteins, the, metabolic stimulation and chemical release, 2 minutes is your sweet spot.
It's a sweet spot, yeah. And what's good is you guys have sessions, what are these, 60 minutes that you book?
75 typically, and then socials are 2 hours.
Okay, got it. So you guys have 2 locations, one on Adelaide and one, we're here in the Yorkville one.
Yeah, this is new.
This is the newest one,
yeah.
And
this one opened in November.
Oh,
November.
It's stunning.
Yeah, it's and it's bigger too.
A lot bigger, probably a lot better for the networking events, but like 4 or 5 years ago, the alternative was going to Lake Ontario.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of those, and like there's been some days where I was like, what did I just step on, right? And like you come to this place and it's such a different atmosphere, plus you have the sauna, which Lake Ontario you don't get at the
you don't get the sauna there.
So talk to us maybe about the transition from cold to hot and the benefits of doing the sauna after.
Yeah. I mean, it really depends. A lot of people have questions on where they should start. And typically with our programming and also what we, for first timers, it's kind of easier to start in the hot, obviously. Our body goes into that state of stress a little slower. Things feel really good when you're in the sauna. Initially, you're getting all of those like detoxing, you're feeling kind of nice and relaxed. And it comes around the 15 to 20 minute mark where you're hitting that state. So that stress state is called hormesis, right? And that's almost more immediate, obviously, in the cold. So it's nice to build up that heat. So your body's almost like craving some of that cold.
Right.
And then we'll go into the ice baths again for that 2 minute mark. You can challenge yourself in there. You can move around. You can dunk your head to sort of elevate the experience if you're really looking for that. And then typically we'll advise that people come out and sort of let their body warm up on their own. Having some tea can really help. So that's why we actually provide tea here for you as well. You can have a seat in this lounge. And then when you're ready to go back in. And that's kind of the typical circuit that we'll like promote. But again, everyone's experience is pretty personal. And there are some cold aficionados that will start right off in the cold. So I think it depends. And then one other thing to consider is the time of day. So typically at night, like I won't cold plunge. I won't end on that. I'll end in the heat because it'll allow my body to kind of kick into that restful state. But if I'm starting my day and I want that extra boost of energy, I'll end on cold for sure.
No, if I could just add on to that, I think, and Sher touched on this, at the end of the day, there's what the science tells us in terms of how to maximize the benefits. And, we definitely, try to communicate that. We want people to get as much from this experience as they can in terms of the education and the hot and the cold. And that being said, it's really what I think makes this place special and what I think not everyone understands is you don't have to come here and do it a certain way. Like this is a beautiful space for you to relax in, for you to enjoy. Sure, we do these guided classes and that's very much a curated experience. But the reason we have free flow is so that people can come and be guided as much or as little as they want. Right? You can come and just do the sauna, hang out here, drink some tea, go back and forth and not touch the cold. And I think you're still going to have a fantastic time.
I would agree with that very much. The vibe, the colors, the feel, just the overall aesthetic. It's an instant calming reaction.
100%. Right now I've never been more calm during a podcast.
So good. It's so good. And we're so lucky to work here. Honestly, like, that's the beauty of it. Like, and I just started coming here and fell in love with it and spent so much time here and got to know the people and loved all the people so much and never thought at this point in my life I would, be taking on a part-time job facilitating sauna and ice bath experiences.
Guiding people into the cold.
Here we are.
So sorry, we never got to your first experience. What got you into it? And
my first experience. Okay, so my mom, super cool lady, always ahead of the curve on the trends and stuff. She did Wim Hof when he was like still coming through Toronto and like doing his things like maybe 15 years ago.
When he was accessible.
When he was a rock star. Exactly.
Amazing.
And I remember her like, I think at that time I was like off in university or something and she was telling me about these like ice baths that she's doing with this group of people. And I was like, this is crazy. But learned a bit about it from her and I was like, okay, like I seem to remember athletes doing that. Makes sense. Put it away. And then, I think Kevin Hart started doing his podcast and ice tubs like 5, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, and sort of brought it back to mind. And then randomly, Emily Bent, one of the co-founders, was a really good friend of mine back in university. We'd lost touch, but social media, I like saw that this thing was happening. And then the last piece that brought me in was found out some friends of mine had come through and really enjoyed it. So came in with them. Came to a Thursday night social, which is a great way for anybody to start, and just loved the experience. But I think like it wasn't the sauna or the ice bath that I think brought me back. I love saunas. The ice bath was certainly an interesting experience and satisfying on some level, but it was putting away my phone. It was being in this stunning space. It was feeling like I was having really genuine conversations and connections with people, strangers, and it's just nice and unique.
There's something about this that strips away the ego, the competition, the vibe. Like if you were doing we were talking about this earlier, if you're doing a networking event at a bar, there's so many other emotions that come with it. When you come here, it's like the connections can be made a lot quicker. I don't know if it's the vulnerability or like the scaredness of going into the cold. Something about it just strips all the BS away.
This place was founded by very intentional people. You know, 5 people that found each other just through mutual friends that all had the same idea. And, you know, letting go of ego is a big part of what we do here. It's intentional.
Yeah.
You know, creating the space, you know, a lot of people, I think, come here feeling fairly uncomfortable that they're going to be in bathing suits and, you know, half naked and whatever. But I think once you get here and kind of put yourself into it, you realize that it's actually a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Where we're taking off a lot of the facade and
Love it.
you know, we are a welcoming space to everybody. And you see everyone from all different backgrounds, from all different places, all different ages.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful thing seeing people come together like this. And I think, you know, sometimes you have to kind of get over a hump. But once you do, like, you realize like that's what we're here to do. And I think it's working. And I think it's what a lot of us need more than we know.
Look, 4 or 5 years ago, nobody would come jump in an ice bath. Like, it was just unheard of. But I think it takes the community to come together and the mutual experience to be like, it's actually pretty fun. Like, you come out enjoying it. It's not a painful experience at all. I think that's the first thing people are worried about. But you talked about the socials. I would love to get you guys talking a bit more about that.
Socials are great. Again, to Dan's point about everything being like super intentional here. With the socials, it was intended to create a space in Toronto, especially, you know, busy city, to come in and network and hang out and socialize, listen to great music, kind of like lean into that social vibe, but doing it paired with like a peak experience, like you were saying. So it is that initial sort of like vulnerability, curiosity, and then obviously by going through the different modalities, you're just kind of like cracked open a bit and like more open and receptive to connection, to building genuine connections. And again, we're super present. We're leaving our devices in our lockers, which I think is always feels nice, especially when we're so dialed in and so connected, like with our phone. So that was also like a really big piece of it, was just you're disconnecting to reconnect with each other in a space. And there's a lot of really cool stories about how the socials will bring people together. And there's like friendships made because, again, we sprinkle some of our programming in there to like break the ice, so to speak, where people are encouraged to connect and just, you know, plunge together, right? You walk out with a friend. So
one piece that I love in the sauna is when you guys do the towel shows. The towels.
Off goose.
What's it called?
Off goose.
Off goose.
Off goose.
Is that like a
big in Europe?
Okay.
Real big.
It's a German. It's a German word, right?
German, Finnish. I don't remember.
Eastern European.
They're doing it. They have like annual competitions and like there's off goose. 2 of our co-founders who are the directors of all the programming and guides, they like literally went and lived with this guy, like one of the off goose champions.
Wow.
Trained with them.
Trained with him and stayed in his house, I think, and like whole thing.
So I was just gonna try to paint this picture. You're sweating in the sauna. All of a sudden, the guides come out with their towels and they have this massive snowball scented with who knows what. Like, it's a surprise every time. And like the first time I saw the snowball put on the sauna, I think it was cedar. And it took me back to Christmas. And I was like, the sensations you feel with the music going, it just opens you right up.
It's such a good experience. There's something about the aroma too that really
aromatherapy is the best.
It's all of your senses are being activated here. And I think again, when we're like not distracted and we're present with that, it's feels really, really good.
The one piece that I think you guys hit on, there's so few places left in the city where you can be cell phone-less. Like even a church, the subway, wherever you go, airplanes now, people have their phones.
If I'm in church, I got it down there.
You're checking the scores. 100%. But here you can't, because you're physically going to burn your phone in the sauna there. So,
and we're going to tell you not to.
It's one
Very
of the last.
Politely, of course.
Well, the thing I like is like I don't ever see people taking selfies in here. Like there's none of that, which is so I think comfort makes you feel that much more comfortable.
Part of the design also was like you'll notice there's no mirrors really here. There's like a couple.
Interesting.
But that was also a part of it. Like we really wanted people to get into their bodies even before the actual like hot cold experience. It's like just getting really, present and like the ambiance, everything is setting the tone for this sort of invitation to enter this world and really be as present as possible.
Love it. Yeah. So let's maybe talk a bit about the app. You guys have a Breathwork app because sauna, cold plunge, doing a lot of that. And at the real estate networking event is where I did my first breathwork.
Same here.
Yeah.
It's I was way more lightheaded than I expected to be.
It's a challenge. Like,
It's literal
Yeah,
work.
it is.
It's
Literal
challenging.
work.
yeah.
Yeah.
So talk to me about what the breathwork app is, how it works, and the whole.
Yeah, the Breathwork app is another big obvious piece of Othership, and it has its own like thriving like global community, which is so cool. It has so many different offerings on there and a lot of contributors from like the team. But Breathwork is a big part of our experience as well. And you've seen it maybe infused in some of the classes, upregulated breathwork or downregulated breathwork, depending on what your intention is. But you can manipulate like your state through your breath. And so the Breathwork app is a sort of easier, fun way to access that, because like Dan said, it is work. It's, I've done guided meditations before and it's so easy to get distracted. Whereas breathwork, I find, because it's so deliberate and again, you're just very focused on following the cues and moving through it, you kind of, for me, I get into the zone really quickly.
Nice.
So that's something that I really appreciate about it. And then the music's so good on it too.
So good. Do you have?
breathing to music,
Yeah.
like breathwork to music
Yeah.
that's
Do you guys have a favorite voice or guide? I definitely have one.
Do you?
Yeah.
I want to know
Yeah,
yours.
I wanna
Who's
know
yours?
yours.
Harry.
Harry. Yeah.
When he sings "Lovely Day,"
Yeah.
I'm just like I'm fired
That
up.
is a
That's a
good
good-
one.
yeah,
That is a good one.
one.
That's a good
Yeah.
one for sure.
And the beauty of the app is when you open it up, it's set up to. Do you want to upregulate, downregulate, or just have an experience?
Yeah.
And I thought it was designed, I guess intention goes back to it all. Because the thread that weaves all of this together, whether you're in the sauna or the ice bath or stressed out in our environment, it's the breathing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think when I flipped it on my head and said work on the breathing, all that other stuff became so much easier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
to maintain the 2 minutes in the bathtub, the breathing,
I mean, that's the biggest piece of it.
that's the hardest
Yep.
part to regulate, to get it.
First time I ever went in was very much like I got told seconds before I dropped into the tub. They were like, just when you get in there, just breathe slow.
Yep.
Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
I sunk in the tub and immediately was like, could not
Yeah.
find my breath.
Yeah.
And then she had to remind me once I was
Yeah.
in there. And then once I slowed down, it's like everything slows down.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And that's the other thing about that whole ice bath thing is it's training. And what you're training is you're training your ability to control your own nervous system. And breathwork is the only way we can do that.
Right.
And one of the most amazing things I think I've experienced here in terms of journey or experiences is I've had a few people who have come in with pretty severe anxiety and have told me that through exposure to cold, they have really begun to manage that anxiety in a whole new way.
I can see that.
And, because it's a controlled anxiety that they're putting themselves through.
Right.
And you're learning how to manage that anxiety, but you're doing it in a safe way, in a safe setting. It's not this anxiety that comes out of nowhere and you don't know when it's going to stop. It's like, when it's going to start, when it's going to stop,
Yeah.
you're in control.
Yep.
So people are utilizing this as a tool in that way too. And yeah, to your point, like it's all breath work and breath work's amazing. And even on a simple way, like we start every class here with a deep breath.
Yeah.
And I honestly, every time I do it, I'm like, that was
Yeah.
so powerful.
Yeah.
It calms you down immediately.
Yeah.
Just one big intentional breath and you're like,
Changes everything. Yeah.
I
It's
found
amazing.
that before, doing a regular practice, I'm very in my head, or I'm just like constantly here. And I've always wanted to have, a better relationship with my body. And I find that this practice like really brings you in and it makes you so acutely aware of everything that's going on, especially in the cold. And I find that that's actually served me outside of the cold in terms of like checking in. I was like, oh, I'm feeling a little anxious here. Or I'm noticing something, that I can breathe into and sort of release and let go. And I found that that's such an incredible tool to take away. Or it's like, if I notice my shoulders are up here, I'm so aware now. And I'm like breathing into it, kind of easing into it and taking, what we're learning and some of the tools we're using in this practice in our daily lives now.
Applying it outside of you.
Yeah, exactly.
And like in the real estate realm, we're so living in the outside world. And when I came to Othership, that was the first like light switch of like, oh, there's a whole inside world that I've completely ignored.
Yeah.
And you meet that inside the second you get in the ice.
Yeah.
Because it cuts through everything. And you just really get that, like you were saying earlier.
Well, you become very present, right?
Very
like,
present.
Your mind's not wandering on, oh, did I send that email? Or are they taking what I said? You know, you're just immediately like, okay, no, this is a survival mode.
Survival mode, yeah. Because you're having like, is this normal?
Yeah.
And like, if there's any hesitation you have about coming and trying this, the guides that they have here are out of this world incredible, and like they're with you the whole way. And what I love most is like, even from the first time in, there's no pressure to hit 30 seconds or 2 minutes. It's like
never a time goal.
Never. It's always like, when you're ready, get out. We're here to help you. So like, if there's any hesitation you have, you've got the right people here to make it super comfortable.
It's all about empowering you to sort of know yourself and meeting yourself where you're at. And it's always an invitation. Like, again, that whole like releasing the ego, and it's, you know, what are your intentions? What are you bringing in today? Like, what are we trying to work through? Yeah.
And I just hope people will come. You know, I know there's some people out there that think it's a little, things that go on in here are a little crazy, a little out there, but honestly, it's not. It's
living out there is crazy. Living here is like,
thank you.
This feels so much better. And actually, fun fact, Dan's in real estate.
I am in real estate.
He's a realtor as well.
Right.
So for the real estate community that's watching this, you have someone here who you could definitely talk shop with if you so choose to.
That's right, 100%. And we need it. We need it as much as anyone.
Yeah.
Especially that disconnection. Like we are glued to our phones. We are glued to email. We're always communicating. And at like the worst times of day, like our internal clock is not designed to do business at 9 p.m. Even if you're good at it, doesn't mean your body's meant to do that, you know? And I think we mess with our internal systems in a lot of ways. And, you know, listen, there's a lot of work I can still do, and I don't think I'll ever get there, but I do this because I know it helps balance out the things that I do in my life that maybe aren't as good. You know?
It's a necessary, it's a necessary tool, I think, for like anyone who lives in Toronto. Stress comes with a package. You cannot escape that. But having places like this where you can use that as an outlet to get it out it's truly a lifesaver. I shared off air. 2 weeks before I got married, I signed up for the 2-week pass. Do you guys still have that?
Yeah.
Oh, talk about
$99.
That is
14 days,
it's
14 visits.
designed to really get people like in and sort of like find what the right cadence is for them, right? You can use it for up to 14 days. You could try an early morning class. You can do a quiet free flow. You can do a social, whatever you want to, you know, experience. We offer that. And we find that, you know, people are able to determine like what feels best. And then, it's a really good way to get people introduced to something.
It was a lifesaver because like you got so much stress going on with the wedding, and we had like 3 cancellations because of COVID. So there was like, is this even going to happen? And I'm like, oh, it's really happening. And I got to say, like, the ice baths grounded me so much and helped me like focus and just be like, it's gonna be all right. We're going to get through this.
So good.
I've always said it's so smart. Like I knew right away. I was like, after that 14 days and I got hooked, I was like, oh, you guys, you got me. You got me so good. Hey, like, what are we getting you addicted to do? Like one of the best things you can do for your body?
It's a great addiction.
Your mental health?
Yeah.
You know, so sue us. Please don't.
Just sign up for a month. When we first started working together, the ice bath was like almost a requirement, or I was like, we need to go.
We went. This was very
early on. So it's like, you're going to learn a lot about me, and I'm going to learn a lot about you, and the trust is going to be established of like just getting to know each other in this environment. So big proponents of it.
We have a special class for building connection between friends.
Oh, really? When is that? Is it like a Monday class or what's
well, it's offered. It's literally, it's called You Plus Me, I think, friendship.
Okay.
So we have like a relationship one, we have a friendship one. And again, like our programming is just designed to create that safe space to build connection. So it's nice to come with like a business partner. You kind of see each other go through something, you know, a bit challenging, and you get to see a little vulnerability, which I think is always nice.
Builds deeper connections for sure.
So fun. So okay, actually, that being said, one last question about, I guess, somebody new coming into it. If they were to look in, I guess, online of where should they start? Like
which class?
Yeah, which class should they opt into?
I always suggest reading some of the descriptions, because all of our classes, again, we're very invitational, right? Like some first timers start at Arctic Tundra, which is a very popular cold focus class. You do multiple ice baths, and they're kind of starting here, which is always really nice. And there's this sense of like, whoa, I just did that. And it's still first timer safe, obviously, because we always have our guides there that are just providing that extra support. And a lot of our classes could resonate with people that are maybe looking for something a little bit more downregulated. One of my favorite classes is called Self-Care Sweat. And it's literally like 75 minutes just to lean in. We give you a gua sha. It's like lymphatic. So it's like self-massage almost. And you just feel so rejuvenated after. So I always encourage people to just sort of read, because we do like get into the descriptions and paint a picture of like what you can expect. But also I feel like every experience is like good.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the 14-day thing is so good, because not every class is going to be for everyone. It's just not. You know, we have so many different ones, and they range. You know, some go so deep emotionally, some are super meditative with visualizations. Some have really intense, like upregulated breath work that's really challenging. So, you know, it's great to kind of try your way through. And I always say people, like, if you try one or two that you don't love, like, don't give up. Use that as a guide to maybe try a downregulated if you only tried up and you didn't like it or whatever. But yeah, I think self-care is a great one. I love loving kindness. I teach loving kindness and self-care sweat, so I'm a little biased here, but I teach them because they were my favorite classes when I used to come here. And I'm you know, not a particularly spiritual guy, and I don't, you know, meditation and visualization practices are still newer for me. And I always found loving kindness just easy. Like, it's just easy, happy thoughts. It's easy to follow along. You can't help but leave feeling good. And then after I did it a few times, then I found myself going a little bit deeper and having a little bit more of an emotional release and an emotional response. So yeah, you just got to try it out. I think those are great ones. And one more I'll throw in there is senses.
Okay.
Have you done senses?
Yeah, I have.
Senses
Talk
is
us
so
about that,
good.
yeah.
So senses is one of our newer classes, and maybe about 6 months old. And it's just designed to sort of isolate and tap into each sense, bring awareness and appreciation, and sort of create some gratitude for each sense and all that it offers us. And what I realized in doing this class is that this space is so designed for isolating your senses. The aromatherapy for smell, you know, being in a hot sauna with all the lights out for sight, and
it's fully in the dark.
You know, yeah, like we have different instruments that we incorporate for sound, and like it's just a very just like, you know, we take so much for granted, our senses included.
I'm sold on that one.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you gotta try
that
it.
one. Yeah, I'm coming back to that one. Maybe, what are we wearing?
I was going to bring this up. Yeah. Can we talk about these beautiful
Sauna hats, these beautiful sauna hats.
I think it's so cool.
Yeah. Well, these sauna hats, you know, whereas normally you're wearing a hat to keep the cold out, in this case, you're wearing a hat to keep the hot out.
Okay.
So it's essentially keeping you cooler by insulating you from the heat of the sauna. So it just sort of delays that that onset of what would you call that? Hotness.
Yeah.
Overheating. Getting hot.
Well, I don't want to say overheating because it's not necessarily, you know, we hope you're never going to overheat in there, of course, but yeah, it makes it a little bit more comfortable for a little bit longer.
When your brain gets really hot, it's going to tell your body to get out of there, and this actually helps you prolong those benefits of the heat. Also, it helps me protect my hair from feeling dry, so I like to wear it for that reason as well. And it's stylish, obviously.
Oh, totally.
And the hair gets super hot. Like, I don't know if you've ever noticed in there, but if you touch, like, hair follicles just seem to get so hot, hotter than the skin.
Yeah.
And then your head being an extremity, being more sensitive to it. So yeah, it just slows down that whole thing and lets you sit in the discomfort a little bit longer, which is what we're all about.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess one last question, and this is my favorite part. Once we're done these ice baths, I get crazy hungry. Like, I could eat so much. Is that normal?
Totally normal.
Okay.
Very normal.
Yeah, totally normal. People don't realize, because you feel so comfortable, you feel so relaxed throughout this process most of the time.
Yeah.
But you're expending a lot of energy. You know, your body, like, dealing with these stressors, these extreme temperatures, and then self-regulating, you're expending there's a lot of calorie burn, much like a workout. So like, you do 3 full circuits in here, like, you're gonna be tired.
Yeah.
And then of course the ice bath is also stimulating metabolic activity. So everything's happening, things are getting processed, things are working through. So I find, always leave here ravenous.
And
every
is there
time.
a go-to spot you would suggest someone checks
Oh
out?
God, this is a big question for me. 20 years in the food business, so this is a big one for me. I'm gonna let Sher take it
It's a
first.
jugment-free space, so there's no wrong answer.
Where are you
It's
going?
this really fancy spot called McDonald's.
Ooh, the golden
Open
arches.
24 hours.
Yeah.
Nuggies?
What's your go-to
What's your
order?
sauce?
Yeah.
Chicken nuggets, sweet and sour sauce.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
of course.
obviously.
Sweet and sour is the best.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
You getting them fresh, or as they say, well done?
I hope so.
Do you know about this?
No.
Wait, you can order them well done?
Guys.
Whoa.
Guys,
blow
this
our
is-
minds.
No,
We're not
this is
talking
the
about
best part.
McDonald's right now.
You order it fresh, but of course, everything is fresh. So the modification they put isn't fresh, it's well done. But
Oh.
all that means is that they're going to drop fresh ones for you.
Huh.
Oh, yeah, it's a
the
game changer.
tricks of the
I was
trade.
not
It's a
expecting
game
that
changer.
when the podcast started. That's
Yeah.
amazing. What about you? What's your go-to spot? Could
My
be
go-to
high-end, could
spot.
be quick bite.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Toronto late night food is not the dream. Like Monday through Thursday, or Sunday through Thursday, you basically have no options other than Chinatown. And no shade on Chinatown, I
Oh, yeah.
love it.
New
but
Ho
like,
King.
I leave here feeling so good, and then I'm gonna go like, counteract it with New Ho King, or Swat would probably be
Swat
my
Tao, yeah. Respect.
But snack bar.
Okay.
Always a go-to.
Yeah,
7
nice.
nights a week
Yeah,
till
I
2
do love
a.m.
snack
bar.
Delicious, and not food that you feel bad eating
Yeah,
either.
and small plates, so
Small
you can
plates,
control what
no
you...
cutlery. That's
Yeah,
their
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And I feel like I got one more in me somewhere. I don't know.
Somewhere in Ossington?
Shawarma, wherever you're at.
Oh, we're big
Find a
shawarma guys.
spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to know our shawarma spot?
Tell me.
Davisville, Hasty Market.
Oh yeah.
At the back of the Hasty Market, Flaming Stove.
Flaming stove.
Get out of here.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, everyone, same reaction. When we went in, they were like, there's no way there's a shawarma spot. It's in the back.
I think
next
you guys got
level.
to do a
Whoa.
podcast out of that Hasty Market.
We're working on it.
100%.
We're working on it.
Yeah,
We're gonna bring our hats.
yeah. And I want to. I want to be.
Be a
I'll
big
be in
guest.
the audience.
Be a
Yeah.
big guest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God,
Just
I
for the
love
eating.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
that's
wicked.
sick.
What do you say we get a little cold?
Oh, I think it's time to have that bet come to fruition.
Yeah, so we made a bet on if the feds were going to increase or lower the rates.
Okay.
I said lower, so I lost.
Okay.
So I'll be the one going in it, but
Oh.
since we have two guides here, maybe we could,
Oh, we're gonna do this.
not to put you on the spot,
Hey.
would you be game for it?
Absolutely.
Could you guys want to guide us?
100%.
Yeah, of course.
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
You know how much pleasure I get out of this?
But you got to wait some towels for us too.
We'll give you the whole experience.
Done. All right, cool.
Awesome.
Nice. All right, guys. Step right up. The water's nice and warm. We had them warm it up for you.
It's only 0
We heard you didn't want it too
degrees.
cold. How long has it been since your last plunge?
It's been about a month. About a month from today. Yeah, we did the real estate event. Was the last time we were here.
Yeah. You feeling good about it?
The normal nerves are kicking in where you're like,
Yeah.
I know I've done this. I know I can do it, but what if this time's different?
I feel like I said this at the beginning, and Sher agrees. Like, you never feel great stepping up onto this bench. And I'm never going to tell you to do anything with those feelings other than just acknowledge them, own it. We're just going to do a few breaths to calm it all down.
All right.
Sound good? You guys ready?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So the way this is going to work, we're going to take a few deep breaths together. Like I said, just to calm everything down. We're going to release any tension on those exhales. I'm going to cue you on a final breath. That final breath is a big inhale with a hold at the top. We're going to step in on the hold so that we can lower down on the exhale. That exhale really lets us push into the cold, all right? Fight back against it, all right? All right, so I encourage you to bring a hand to the heart and a hand to the belly just to feel into the breath here. Let's take a big breath in all together and let it go. Another one like that. Releasing all the tension. Now this final inhale, all the way up. Fill the chest, fill the belly, hold it at the top. Stepping in now on this hold. You got this. Saving that exhale for as you lower down. Beautiful. There we go. Finding that breath in through the nose. That breath in through the nose, that's the key to success here, gentlemen.
You sure it's 0?
There you go. There you go. Getting into our groove now, finding a sense of calm, starting to slow that breath down. That's it.
How are the
Hardest part
toes?
is done.
I lost mine.
The joints, you can feel the joints. Lots of pain in the joints.
Just breathe through it, guys. Keep that breath coming in through the nose. That's how we tap into the right part of the nervous system to calm everything down.
Now it's coming around. Now I'm feeling the calm. Yeah.
There it is. Yeah, people turn the corner 1 minute, and you're hitting 1 minute now. So that's it.
I feel like the ego's kind of, it's calmed down. Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, close your eyes, relax. Nice work, guys. Nice work. Relaxing those shoulders, making sure we're not holding any tension. Maybe scooting down a little bit. Getting that neck in there, huh? There we go.
Yep.
We hold a lot of tension in the neck and the shoulders. You know, it's important to really get that submerged. You guys are going to be better agents tomorrow. I promise you that.
Trust you on this one.
You're doing great. What's going through your head right now?
Keeping extremely calm. Whew. Just trying to contain the breath.
And you, Mark?
Just finding it, feeling it, riding it, getting that clarity.
Would you recommend this to others?
12 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
You guys are very generous. We're coming up on 2 minutes in 3, 2, and 1. We're going to...
Oh, yeah. Go for the dunk. Go for the dunk.
Haven't done it yet. Let's do it.
Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Nicely done, guys. Nicely done. Step out nice and easy here.
Easy as pie. Oh, you guys are awesome. Really made it smooth.
Beautiful work.
We always suggest getting into a nice power pose and really leaning into all of the
Yeah, you
feelings.
can bring arms up in the air, give them a little shake, get the blood flowing. We like to do a few squats here. Yeah, nice and slow. We can hold the squat at the bottom, and we're going to do a little...
Nothing but amazing.
Feeling good, right?
Yeah, now it feels good. It's the after effect.
The afterglow, the peak experience is what we call it, because it's part of the experience happens in there, but part of it's happening right now, right? Getting this opportunity to really feel in to the shift, right? Yeah.
Butterflies,
Yeah.
You're feeling all that good stuff come up.
Yeah,
It's like all the bad stuff, even in the tub. Just
That's
kind of
it.
falls off.
And the best is I don't shiver every time, but sometimes if you get the shiver, just let it happen. It's like you're just shedding all the bad stuff. It's amazing.
I'm shedding all over the place. I'm feeling that cold. It's beautiful.
I want to do a deal with you tomorrow. You're going to be in a great mood. You're going to be in a great fucking mood.
Awesome. So Joey, how you feeling?
I feel like my body's burning in all the good ways.
I share those sentiments. But definitely like even after a 45-minute talk, everything just feels a lot more calmer, a lot more focused, a lot more clear. So
Yeah. No.
definitely if you're feeling the stress of the city, come to Othership. We've got some great guides here. People can sign up online. That's probably the easiest way. And if we can do it, anyone can do it.
Yeah,
Don't be
100%.
scared. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
Awesome.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you
guys.
doing it. Cool.
You're going to sleep very well tonight.
And then have a shawarma in the morning. Yeah. Thanks again, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks for listening to the Toronto Livings Real Estate Podcast. You could find more information on how we work over at torontolivings.com. Be sure to sign up for our newsletter to get price reports from over 150 different neighborhoods in the city each and every month.
If you got any value, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And if you made it this far, thanks for listening.